Hey all my crafty people, it's Rachel here and I'm back. I have a new video. I'm alive, I'm around, and so I just kind of wanted to make a video about this new season of my life. If you happen to be a follower of this channel, you've probably came for all my sewing and embroidery videos. I did some learn how to use your sewing machine videos. There's my main machine right there, so you've probably seen it in a couple videos. And you might be wondering, like, where have you been? Or, maybe if you checked out the channel, you said, oh, hasn't been very many postings. And that's just because life got really busy. I had 2 kids in 2 years, so I had 2 kids under 2 for a while, and I'm finally at a point in life where things are starting to settle down. And so I kind of wanted to get back into YouTube, mostly because I'm kind of getting into this next season of life, which is going to be homeschooling my kids. Right now, they're not very old, so it's not going to be anything serious. My oldest is 2.5. She'll be 3 in the fall, and then my youngest just turned 1. So really simple, gentle approach, nothing crazy. As far as maybe future sewing videos, I do want to get back into that. It's just that finding time for sewing is already difficult enough with 2 kids, especially 2 little kids. And then to have to film it too is probably the hardest part. It's kind of hard to film everything or know when to film certain things or how to film certain things, what's going to look the best. So that's going to be on the back burner a little bit. I definitely want to get back into it though, because I did really enjoy making those videos, especially to teach people how to sew. I think I might try and focus on maybe some in-person classes. I'm starting to make some, mom friends with kids around my kids' ages, and so that might be something I focus on. But for this video, I wanted to talk about homeschooling. I've been doing a ton of research. I love just, hopping on YouTube and watching other people's videos to see, like, what are they doing? How do you approach it? As someone who's always wanted to be a teacher, but I didn't really want to work in, like, the public school system, homeschooling definitely feels like a natural move for me. That feels very like, yeah, I definitely could do that. I think I have the ability to do it. I would think my only struggle, my only like flaw would be time management. And so the reason why I kind of hopped on YouTube and started watching different videos and things like that is because people talk about curriculum, and a curriculum is basically just structured lessons that somebody else writes for you. And I went into that rabbit hole, was watching all these different videos, and I just got really overwhelmed because so many people are obviously curriculum addicts. They love to buy curriculum, and I'm not mad at you because I love to buy stuff too. I love going shopping, especially when you have a new hobby or you're getting into something new like homeschooling. When I got into sewing, I was always going to the fabric store. I even worked at a sewing store to feed my habit of buying fabric and notions and patterns and things like that. So I totally get it. But I'm at a point in my life where I want to actually downsize on stuff. I want to try and get rid of things, but I do want to get into homeschool, and I want to start, it's May right now. I want to kind of like easing into it during the summer months, kind of trying to find our rhythm and trying to find schedule and see how it works for us, and then kind of really dive in the fall, like a regular school year. I work remote. I work from home full time. My schedule is going to change at some point, and so I really want to just kind of figure that out. All that to say is that I wanted to make a video because I found a couple curriculums that I think I want to try. And I wanted to make a video for other people who maybe who want to get started with their little kids homeschooling, but don't have a lot of money. You want to try and do it budget friendly. You don't want to have to buy. Maybe you don't want to buy anything, or you want to go really inexpensive. So this is what I'm making this video for, because I ended up shopping our toys, our stuff that we already had. My kids have lots of grandparents, lots of aunts and uncles, so every Christmas and Easter and birthday, they just get gobs of toys, gobs of books, educational stuff, maybe stuff that's not so educational. And so I said, instead of buying a curriculum, I'm gonna see what I already have. Now I am using an outline right now it's from the Gentle and Classical Preschool. I will link her website down below because she actually has a free version of the parent's handbook that you can actually download and look at. You can print off because she wants you to read through it and see if this is something that works for you. And so I kind of like started printing that off. I have the schedule. She kind of gives you the first like introductory stuff for 100% for free. So I was like, this is perfect. I'm gonna print that off. I'm gonna use a lot of the stuff that I already have, and then I'm also gonna use the library. And then today I actually ended up going to the thrift store because I did want to shop a little bit because, like I said, I like to shop, you like to shop. But I went to the thrift store, so I kept it really inexpensive. But most of the stuff I already had at home. So I kind of wanted to do a haul, but it's really a shop your stash haul. So this is for, like I said, my daughter's gonna be 3 in the fall. So if you have a 3-year-old and you're wanting to homeschool them, open up that toy bin, see what you already have, check out the books, and everything like that. The Gentle and Classical, the curriculum gives you kind of guidelines on what kind of books you should be looking for. She focuses on poetry and nature. It's definitely geared more towards the Charlotte Mason philosophy, and that's like a whole nother thing to discuss the different styles and things like that. So let me go ahead and get into it. Everything I'm going to show you first is stuff I literally already had. My kids already had this stuff. And so what I did is I picked it up and I put it in a designated area. So now it's not accessible to them all the time. And so I feel like when we start actually kind of implementing homeschool time, it'll be like, ooh, this stuff is new and cool and interesting. So tons of books already. Like we have this. I think it was from Amazon or something like that. They're definitely well loved and chewed up. But these are really perfect if you're, just doing sight words or something like that, or just want to learn animals. My 1-year-old can use these. And it has like colors, birds, transportation, and things like that. So that's a great thing to kind of like keep separate. Maybe it won't get chewed up anymore. Yeah, and then so we have like first 100 words. Like I said, my kids are very young, so these are very baby oriented, but I thought this would be great. So, if I'm sitting at the table and trying to actually doing a more structured lesson with my daughter, my son can, look at this kind of stuff. And when I say structured, I mean very, very like quick, simple lessons. They're so young, it's going to be mostly playtime and things like that, but I thought it might be fun to just kind of get these things kind of separated now, and then as we kind of as we ease into it, you're like, oh cool, these are the fun school books that we have. So this is something my mom got them. It tells you all about your brain, so this is definitely for when they're a little bit older, but again, you can kind of like section it off now. This one, I got this one recently actually. Most of this stuff I didn't buy myself, except for this. I did buy this because we needed a good ABC book. I think this is one anybody who's doing homeschool with their littles is probably going to look for. This was mine when I was little. So this is from the 90s. And it's a little pop-up colors book. And I have such vivid memories of reading this as a little kid. There's a number one too that I'll show you. So, my grandma and my mom kept all this stuff from when I was little. So, ask your parents, like, hey, do you have any of my old books from when I was in school? Because, this is a great little educational. It was really cute. Look at the back. So that's fun. We have these. I'm sure other people have these too. These are the eggs. When you pull them apart, they're color/matching shapes. So really great for preschool. I think the kids got this for Easter one year. And what's nice about taking this and putting it in sort of like your homeschool area is that what my kids do is take these all apart and throw them all over the floor, right? It's just, you're like, oh, you want to play with your toy, you're going to match the colors, you're going to match the shapes, and it's like, No, they're gonna take all the eggs apart and throw them all over the floor, and then it's just something you have to pick up. So I think having this in your homeschool area and making it a structured activity where you sit with them is going to be less stressful for you, because everything, like, the lesson is take it out, take them apart, put them together, and then put it away. And then so you don't have to get rid of a toy. Just more books. I have a friend of mine gave me these flashcards, so some number flashcards. That's perfect. What I want to do is maybe get one of those, like, I don't know what they're called, D-rings, and, you know, punch a hole in all these and then put these on the rings so that they would be something we can, like, review. So again, something I already had. Just tons of books. I'm just gonna, like, kind of pull them across the screen. So just anything I thought that was a good educational book. Here's the counting one from the 90s. This is a Scholastic book. This one's really cute too. So this one's, okay, just real quick. This one's cute because it starts with 1, and then when you flip it open, it goes to the next number. So, again, lots of great memories reading those as a kid. Chicka Chicka Boom Boom for your alphabet learning. The Very Hungry Caterpillar for counting and just fun something to read. The Gentle and Classical, and I guess Charlotte Mason in general, talks about living books. So books that are really rich literary books and not just, like, you know, some of the, like, more hokey, cheesy ones. Or not even hokey or cheesy, but just, like, very simple, basic books. You know, you have, I guess, like, something like Chicka Chicka Boom Boom is not technically called a living book because it's so simplistic. There's nothing wrong with that, but a living book has, like, these rich, detailed illustrations. It has full paragraphs, and so there's a lot of homeschooling philosophies that want you to focus on this type of reading to your kids, because it's like, well, if you want them to learn to read this, you should start reading it to them. Is kind of the theory. So I had this for my first baby shower. Let's see, this is a book my mom got. This is a book I used to read all the time as a little girl, and my mom and I would read it together, and we do British accents. I don't think it's a very well-known book, but it's really cute. It's a quick, easy read, but it's really fun when you're doing the different accents and things like that. So another example of, like, a living book, because it's more rich and in-depth, and there's, like, full sentences and things like that. Let's see, and then, like, real sort of the opposite end of the spectrum. So you have your living book, and then you have your, like, learn your colors books. And then I have Dr. Seuss. I have actually a whole set of all the original Dr. Seuss books that a friend, we call her our aunt, but she's not our aunt. I used to work with her, but she's like 30 years older than me. She got these for my kids. So we have a whole box set of Dr. Seuss already. So, I mean, obviously we're not there yet at 1 and 2.5, but when you get there, it's like you already have a great reader, right? This a friend of mine gave to my kids for Easter. Let's Learn Sign Language, and it's just flashcards. And I taught my kids, you know, my kids know some basic sign languages of, like, baby signs. Just to communicate. It's great for when your kids can't communicate yet, knowing things like more or eat, play, things like that. So having that basic sign language in place is actually really good for babies, since they can't talk yet, but they can communicate to you. And so this is obviously definitely more in depth, and it's really fun. I've known a little bit of sign language when I was growing up, so this will be fun to kind of get into more with my kids. Let's see, and then some more books from when I was a little kid. I memorized this one, and I tricked my aunt into thinking that I knew how to read, but I had just memorized it. Alright, and then some toys. So then we have this. I'm sure this was like a Christmas present for the kids. Just musical instruments. And the Gentle and Classical curriculum talks about doing, like, a music time and letting your kids play instruments. So they're all wooden, and I think it's a set from Amazon. And it came with a little bag, which is great to keep it all together. think everyone's seen this one too, where you make your little flower garden. And this was another one of those things, one of those toys I never wanted to pull out for my kids because they were just going to throw it all over the floor. So having this sort of segregated off as like structured learning playtime, I think is going to be great for me to make me less stressed out. So other things, just some like workbooks and stuff that I picked up at Dollar Tree. Obviously I'd been thinking about homeschool for a while. This is like a lift to flat book, so I thought that'd be great for learning. Stuff like that. These were ones I'd actually found at a thrift store a while ago. These are like old school workbooks from the 90s. I mean, they had some good stuff back then, and I just think it's cool to have a variety of different styles and things like that, especially when your kids are really young. You can kind of get a feel for what kind of learning they benefit from. So there's that, and then last thing. So I'm in a nature walk group that they follow a curriculum called, I think it's called Exploring Nature with Your Kids. And it's recommended that you get this giant textbook to go along with it. Now, this is definitely more for me. This is for me because I'm trying to get more focused on nature for my kids. And it's just a cool little reference book, and it goes by the seasons. The curriculum goes by the seasons, and then you read something from here to kind of go along with that week's lesson. So that's fun. And then going with that is a nature journal, so your kids draw pictures in it. My kids are too young for this still, so just kind of looking for the future. Alright, so we got that. Now that's everything I already had. Tons of books, tons of references already. Nothing, a couple of things kind of specifically geared towards obviously educational, but not really. Most of it's for just fun and stuff they got for Easter and Christmas and their birthdays. So I have a ton of stuff already, and with my kids being so young, I could just stop there. You really could. If that's all you had, if you're living in a house full of toys and you're kind of you feel overwhelmed by it, take the stuff that you think could be educational, or take the stuff that drives you nuts with a lot of different pieces and set it aside, and that can be your homeschool education. Because with something like that flower garden, you can talk about plants, life cycles, you can talk about colors, you can count things with it, you can sort it, you use your pincher grasp so you're doing fine motor skills. So in that one toy, that's a lesson that you can go back to over and over again, especially with a 2 or a 3-year-old. But of course, like I said, I wanted to go shopping, so I did go to the thrift store a couple of times, and I found there's a newer thrift store near us that just opened up not that long ago. And I was really surprised by their prices, because it's not a Goodwill, thank goodness, called Thrift. I don't know if they're a national brand or not. And we went just to kind of like go peek around, and I was like so surprised by how good the prices were. And then they had definitely a ton of stuff kind of geared towards homeschooling. I'm in Texas, so there are tons of homeschool families out here. It's known to be a homeschool state, so I wasn't surprised to find that many homeschooling resources there. But at the same time, I was really surprised because of how affordable it all was. So the first time we went the other week, I got this dictionary. This was only $2.30, and it's like a textbook style dictionary. And I mean, the definitions are extremely basic. So, awake means not asleep. David tried to stay awake all night. Boom, that's the definition. So I thought this was a really awesome resource for under $3. I was like, okay, sure. And then I found these 2 DK books. So in my research on YouTube videos and types of books and curriculum and stuff people are buying, DK is known as a really good sort of like resource, encyclopedia kind of thing. Those full colors. Like, these are the kind of books I wanted as a kid, but were like kind of expensive. Regular price, these were both, when they were new, were $16.99. And again, they were $2.30 each. And so I was like, I know that my kids are too young for this stuff, but for that price, you can have it as like a fun picture book. And then if, they tear it or something happens to it, I won't feel so bad. So I just saw those and I couldn't help myself. And then today I went back and I got a bunch of different stuff too that I found randomly. I got a binder, a nice thick binder to put the curriculum. I'm not using the whole, I haven't bought the curriculum, I'm more using it as a guideline, but that's what I'm going to put in here. I'm going to put some, they have like a preschool morning binder and they give you some pages for free to kind of try it out. So I printed off a bunch of those. I'm going to put those in sleeves and put it in the binder so my daughter can open it up and do the dry erase markers. That is something I saw in a lot of videos that people utilize with their younger kids. Like, print off something, find free worksheets, or even taking like a coloring book and taking it apart and putting in a plastic sleeve. And then your kids can use it over and over again. And so that'll be a great way to teach them how to write without having to go through like a million pieces of paper. So the next thing I got this. This was $3.29 and all the orange sticker stuff was half off. I was like, okay, I found a bunch of orange sticker stuff. So it came with like a little board and then a bunch of pieces. I did not check to see if all the pieces were there, but I figured if at least one of the puzzles had all of its pieces, then it was worth the $1 something I ended up paying for it. So cool. Some construction paper. This was also half off of $1.49. It's definitely older construction paper, you could tell by the coloring, but we have zero construction paper at this point, so this will be great for just to have her practice cutting stuff up, because that's something that I've never sat and worked with her yet, so I wanted to do that. This is like, again, this was also half off of $1.50. This really cool old atlas. And I used to have a collection of old maps back in college when I was doing like art and stuff like that. And I would use them to do like collages and decoupage and stuff. But I think it's really good to see a paper map and learn how to read a paper map. I know we're digital now. You're probably never going to need a paper map in the future, but it's like this is huge for a kid. So for a kid to like kind of sit there and look at the map, I think is a different experience. And so for 75 cents, I had to get it. I love old maps. I'm weird. Okay, so then I got, what else did I get? Oh, I found these. I saw these on somebody else's video and I was like, that's cool. They're these like, basically like an entry level to reading. They're supposed to be really great. Like, these are like pre-readers, like learning how to read. I mean, brand new, I don't know what this costs, but it was, okay, brand new would have been $17. I got it for $2.30. So we're going to be practicing our alphabet. This is just another really fun, great resource that I got for really inexpensive. Let's see what else. And then I got some flashcards. Yellow stickers were 25% off, so this is brand new in the shrink wrap. And then I got some boxes and baskets because I don't know if it's Charlotte Mason, but I know Montessori is all about like using natural materials and sort of setting things out to let your kid kind of explore things on their own time. So that's definitely a style of learning I want to present to my kids and see if that's beneficial to them. And, you know, I think it's fun to put your supplies in a cute wooden box. Like, look how cute this is. It's wood. And it was $4.29, 25% off. So I thought this would be great to put, I don't know, pens and pencils in, or flashcards, or something. So again, it's like we put it away when we're done, and then we take it out when we're actually trying to be structured and educational. So it's all about sort of like transitioning from learning to play to like being at home and doing regular life. So I just thought that was really cool. And I got some other baskets and stuff too. All of these were less than $3 and 25% off, so like this. I know some people do something called like a morning basket, where they'll do maybe like a Bible study or like have a reader or something like that. They put in a basket and they take it out. It's like a way to start your homeschool day. It's like transitioning from being, you know, doing whatever to actually learning something. And I got this one. So yeah, I got those. They were cute. They were cheap. You can never find cheap baskets anymore, so I was like, okay, sure. And then, let's see, I found this book. This is like an older book. What year is it from? Let's say. It is from, it doesn't have the year, but it's definitely an older style photography book with baby animals. So, again, it was $2.30, so if my kids want to look through that and they accidentally tear it, I won't be too upset. And then this one was perfect because, again, with the gentle and classical curriculum, she does, you do daily Mother Goose rhyme and nursery rhyme, like that you focus on for like the week or something like that. And I had borrowed one from the library, which was fine to just use for now, but this, I saw this one, and it has the actual music notes too. So not only are you learning the nursery rhyme, but you're actually learning how to read music and stuff too, which I think is amazing. I love music. When I was a little kid in school, I went to Catholic school and we had a choir class and we had to learn how to sing. And that's just something that always stuck with me. So for $2.29, and it was 25% off. So I was like, perfect. We needed a book. We're supposed to have one of these for the curriculum. I had it in my, like, you know, Amazon wish list for my kids, and I was like, boom, I got to take that off. You know, new one of these is like $12 or $13, but so this was perfect. I was really happy to find that. And that was everything. That was everything I bought. I think it was like $30 today, and then for those other books, maybe like another $8. So like all in $40 actually spent my money just on this. I don't think that's a bad deal. It really isn't, considering how much some of the curriculum stuff you find online is. A lot of people are really into The Brave and the Beautiful, or is it The Brave and the Beautiful? Something in the Beautiful? I forget what it's called. I'll link it down below. And I mean, for what it is, it's really not horribly expensive, but my kid is only, you know, 3 years old. I don't want to spend a lot of money on a notebook that she's just going to scribble in. And then we can't use the notebook ever again. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, I was like, I'll just go through what I have. So I hope this, you know, if you're thinking about homeschooling little kids, definitely shop your stash. See what your kids already have. If you have a big family like me, and they have a lot of grandparents who love to go big for Christmas and Easter and their birthdays, I'm guaranteeing you have a bunch of this stuff already. And if you want to do a little shopping because it's fun, definitely hit up the thrift store. I was really surprised to see how much I was able to find. So, you know, thank y'all so much for joining me in this video. Kind of going forward with this channel, I'll probably do more homeschooling stuff for a little bit. If there's interest in some sewing, I might do a couple of maybe some beginner sewing stuff, sewing videos again as well. But I hope that y'all enjoyed. Let me know if you're going to be homeschooling kids, if you've thought about it. I'll definitely keep you up to date because, like I said, I work full time. My schedule's about to be changing, and so I'm really going to take it easy when I start off to see how I can balance, you know, work and homeschool, and honestly to see if I can do it, maintain it, and if not, you know, I've spent $40 on some fun educational stuff for my kids, so I won't feel too bad about it. But yeah, so join me for this journey. Hit like and subscribe, and let me know if you're going to be homeschooling some little kids this year too. Bye.